Today's a pretty important aviation industry update. From Boeing to Ryanair, want to begin with the American plane maker, where some big things are going to change moving forward. We know that this is a company that is struggling with complexities in the certification process of several aircraft types. Now, this ranges from small planes to big ones, and it's now likely to change forever, this process I'm speaking about. So, at the beginning of the 2024 calendar year, the Federal Aviation Administration enhanced its oversight into key practices undertaken at the American company, spurred on by that door blowout incident that only revealed greater quality issues than initially thought, and you'd probably argue that across the last 4 years, clearly not enough work done to really restore the company to the status it once was. That increased oversight has not only seen enhanced focus on the plane maker's production practices, but also a greater degree of care taken to actually approve aircraft. While this has positive ramifications in ensuring that planes are certified to the safest manner possible for their eventual entry into service, it does now take longer. This has a knock-on effect on the manufacturer producing the plane and airlines expecting to receive said aircraft. The process, however, is going to change following fresh comments from Mike Whitaker, the Federal Aviation Administration's chief. In the past, the consensus through investigations was that the healthy relationship that was present between Boeing and the FAA essentially allowed the plane maker, more often than not, to certify key parts of its aircraft on its own, leading to quality control complications. However, Whitaker has stated that the approach will now focus on streamlining fundamental elements to ensure that oversight can be achieved. At the same time, the process can be conducted promptly. Furthermore, the FAA is looking to invest heavily in the updating of its own technology to basically become more efficient in the certification process and gain greater control right from the beginning rather than coming in, say, at a later point where there are already issues present. The regulator feels that if it intervenes at an early stage in the approval process rather than, as I touched on, towards the end, it'll be able to understand how each step is conducted and create a suitable pathway for all parties. In essence, the FAA wants better access to the certification process for companies like Boeing. However, it also knows that such increased oversight, which likely has the trade-off of a reduced production rate, is something that can't continue on forever. The regulator knows it needs to see firm improvements from Boeing, who are going to need to invest in themselves to ensure that quality slips are not going to continue occurring with their planes. With time, the American plane maker can begin returning to normality with its rates and certification. However, it is relying on the FAA to give the all clear, and when that takes place remains to be seen. The certification processes are all being heavily emphasized because we know Boeing still has not received approval for 3 core aircraft types. Firstly, the smallest variant is the 737-7, which is part of the MAX family. This should have been certified over 3 years ago if all had gone according to plan. However, complications with the certification process and Boeing's persistent quality control issues have continuously delayed the approval, leading to frustrations not just at the plane maker, but airlines that are meant to be expecting the plane. Certification, obviously, of the 737-7 is crucial. However, it's even more so when you consider they need approval for this plane to then get the 737-10, which is the largest member of the series, with significant capacity increases, approved as well. Unfortunately, because of certification delays, many airlines have already had to cancel 737-10 orders and essentially swap them out for already approved, more modest variants, which deviates from their intended, maybe, future fleet planning. These companies are making the difficult decision because they're unsure on when they're going to be receiving their planes and simply can't be in limbo for much longer. Some airlines, such as Delta, alongside other prominent figures, have stated that the goalposts for delivery have continued to move. While certification could occur in 2025, they don't expect the plane to be in service until the end of 2026. At best. For some other airlines, the expectations have just been impossible to meet, leading to dramatic cuts in growth targets. This is seen with United Airlines, who are a big supporter of the 737 MAX series, and while there is great focus on this popular narrow-body, the 777X will continue to be included in certification discussions, with this upcoming long-haul jet facing its own challenges and a recent delay that'll see its entry into service pushed back another year to 2026. over to Ryanair, Europe's leading budget carrier, where they've repeatedly announced their plan to slash services to and from Germany in the future. But now, the anger is increasing. Michael O'Leary is the CEO of Ryanair. He's always been outspoken and revealed more in an interview. Being outspoken has allowed him to provide his true thoughts on the matters within the aviation industry, and while he may come across as incredibly blunt, many people have a lot of respect for him. He doesn't hold back and he says it how it is. That really the true qualities of a businessman. The interview, which was published by German local media, saw him discuss the complexities of the German market and the plan for meeting conditions laid out. Some comments were harsher than others, with the headline being Ryanair largely accusing the German government of heightened arrogance across recent times when dealing with the aviation industry, and forgetting how fundamental this is for not just so many, but actually for Germany as a country itself. Ryanair hasn't been afraid to publicly criticize Germany for its increased operating costs and taxes that have come in, which have seen many operators alongside Ryanair look to slash services or find ways to mitigate them, which has obviously been harder than maybe expected. The budget carrier has been forced to slash services already and redeploy aircraft to more profitable locations to ensure that it's utilizing its assets as efficiently as possible. Ultimately, this is a move that can be viewed as frustrating and one that in an ideal world the airline would not be making, but it feels its hands are basically tied behind its back and it's been given no choice. However, some things would bring Ryanair back to the country and allow it to actually expand rapidly. The CEO highlights the need for Germany to reduce its taxes and overall fees, where in essence, if Germany were to do this, Ryanair would commit heavily to the country, doubling its flights into Germany within 7 years. But the government has not yet responded and has certainly remained a bit standoffish to meet proposals from airlines who are trying to work through these tax and fee concerns. Without the proposal's approval, Ryanair is making the harsh decision to cut almost 2 million seats across 2025, in a landmark decision that really shows you just what's taking place over there. Several airports are being axed from the Ryanair route network to ensure that profitability can continue being achieved and there is better utilization of the available aircraft. At the same time, massive service reductions across the board for remaining routes will continue. The need for Ryanair to optimize its aircraft usage is always going to occur. However, the importance is arguably higher than it ever has been, as Boeing battles ongoing delivery delays in securing planes from Boeing. The budget carrier is an all-Boeing operator, so it's therefore been really affected by the quality control issues that have led to dropping production rates, and as a result, Ryanair needs to retain older aircraft, optimize its fleet, and find ways to avoid capacity reductions in important markets where competition is always high. And if situations like what is unfolding in Germany arise, well, there are probably better uses for aircraft than flying into these markets where the costs are only going to increase, which will risk profitability for the long term. It's complicated, but it makes sense, and I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. Thanks a bunch for your support here on the channel. Please take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your latest industry news. And we'll fly.